All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. We got a bunch of NBA games on the slate today. We're going to jump into each game. I'll give you what I'm thinking, give you my lean. We'll talk about the game, but as always, all my final plays, what I'm actually going to be rolling with. If you want to ride, if you want to fade, all those plays will be in the pinned comments, so make sure to go check that out. If you're watching early, we're up real early at 5 a.m. today, getting this one out. If you guys are up early and you see that there's no final plays, just check back later. There's always going to be final plays by game time. In terms of yesterday's final plays, we finally go 1-0 against the spread. But that's just me giving you the good news. 1-0 against the spread there, 0-2 in the player prop category. We might cool it off with player props and stick to what we do best around here, which is spreads and totals. But 0-2 in the player prop category. We had the Knicks -4 against the Pistons. That was an easy win. They won by 30. But then we had Jalen Brunson on the Knicks over 22.5. It was a blowout. He got in foul trouble. Julius Randle drops 1,000,000 points. It was the biggest recipe for disaster for Brunson. So no one else is to blame for that pick but this guy. And then we also had Saddiq Bey on the other side of things with his PRAs. So those are two player prop losses. Even our ride of the day has not come in a couple games here. So we got Nick. We got to drop the womp womp. Marcus Morris over 15.5 points. No Kawhi, no Paul George, and no dice. No dice there for the ride of the day, guys. If you want to be the ride of the day, make sure to use hashtag ride of the day in the comments and give me a play. I need a lock here. I know Nick has had some heaters in the past, so I'm not worried about that, but we got to get back on the winning track with the ride of the day. It's a couple in a row that have not cashed. And talk about being on the winning track here and got to get back on the winning track. We're 3 days in a row now where, yeah, these purple lights, these nice lights in front of me. I don't know, guys. The electric bill's getting pretty expensive and we're not winning any money in the last 3 days. So we got to turn things around. So we're going to be really particular about our spots today and everything like that because, you know, we can't suffer another negative day in a row. 3 days in a row is just not it. But before we get into any of the games, guys, can you go ahead and hit that like button? Can you hit that subscribe button, guys? That is the good luck for us all. If you guys hit that subscribe button, we're going to be cooking. We're going to be rocking. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes on today's video. And then I also want to talk to you guys about the merch that we have on the store. We got a bunch of things on the store as of right now, a bunch of new stuff for Christmas, and we got a bunch of just new Fade Me gear. You see in the graphic here, we got the Star Wars Fade Me, we got the Budweiser Fade Me, but not actually those companies. And then we also have the Fade Me Santa Christmas sweater, which is awesome, guys. So if you do want to go support and also just cop some awesome merch, guys, make sure to check out the link in the description and use promo code FADE2022. Even if you don't want to buy anything, just go click the link and check it out. See what you got in there. We got a lot of cool designs that we've worked really hard on. The design team's worked really hard on in the last couple months or so. So make sure to go check that out, guys. We have that link in the description. I'll also put it in the pinned comment for your ease as well. But let's get into some damn games. We got a couple more plugs to talk about at some point in the show, but we will get to that, guys. We're starting things off with Philly taking on the Cavs here. Cavs hosting in this one. They're 4-point favorites at home. 211.5 is the total. 13-8 straight up this year. 12-8-1 against the spread. They're turning into the covering Cavs. We have a couple teams that just cover for us. Those Cavs are starting to be one. And then Philly on the other side of things. Remember how poorly Philly started this season? They're now 13-8 against the spread and 12-9 straight up. So I do think that we have a very good game in store for us in this one, guys. In terms of the injury report, we got to check that out as of late for the Sixers here. But actually no new injuries. Joel Embiid not listed on the injury report. For Cleveland, Jared Allen downgraded to out. I think that's going to be a pretty big trouble for them if Embiid starts to go off here. So I'm actually going to lean the underdog on the road here. Philly +4 in this one. And then in terms of a total, I don't really love the total in this one. I guess I would just lean over because it's such a low scoring game, or a low predicted total there. But I don't really love the total in this one whatsoever. I think that both these teams can either drop a bunch of points or play really good defensively. So I'm going to stick away from the total here. Both teams sub 500 in terms of over-under as well. 4-6 to the over for Philly in the last 10, and then Cleveland 3-7. So that's why that total's so low. But I'm going to lean Philly. Call me crazy. I know the Cavs are playing good basketball, but I think this Philly team is a little bit, you know, this line has some value here. So I'm going to lean Philly +4 in this one. Next up, we have the Hawks taking on the Magic here. Magic 6-point dogs at home. Total is 226 in this one. I think this one's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Atlanta isn't playing that great of basketball in the last 7 games. They're 1-6 against the spread. Orlando, also not the best team in the world. I think Atlanta's coming off, and we got it up in front of us. 3 losses in a row. They're 4-6 in the last 10, but Orlando has lost 5 games in a row and only 2 and 3 in the last 5 against the spread. I'm going to lean Atlanta. Hopefully a get out of a rut type game. I know that they're on the road. We call them the Atlanta Pigeons on the road. This season, they're 3-7 against the spread on the road. So I get it. They're the Pigeons on the road. But I do think that they can step up and beat this Orlando team. So I'm going to lean Atlanta, laying the points here on the road. Hopefully they get out of their rut. Next up, we have my Boston Celtics 9-point favorites at home over this Miami Heat team. I cringe when I see 9 points, but then I look at the injury report, and guys, I'm telling you, every single damn day, this Miami injury report is making my eyes strain. They're making me a better reader, making me work for it. Here we go. Jimmy Butler out, Victor Oladipo still out, Dwayne Dedmon questionable, Duncan Robinson questionable, Haywood, Hingsmith questionable, as if that matters, Tyler Hero questionable, Max Strus upgraded to probable, there's a positive, Caleb Martin questionable, Gabe Vincent questionable, and then Jamal Cain questionable, and Nikola Jokic, not that one, questionable. Jovic, not Jokic. So this entire Miami Heat team is questionable. Bam Adebayo isn't on the injury report, so that's good for them. Nonetheless, I do think I still lean the Celtics here, -9. It is a tough spot. So what I actually like more than the Celtics in this one -9 is I like leaning the over here. The Celtics have been an absolute over machine in the last couple games. They scored, what did they score? 140, 130, 122, 125 in their last 4 games here. And the defense hasn't totally been there either, but they're 3-1 in the last 4 games when it comes to the over. So I'm going to lean the Celtics and the over. Miami also hit the over in 2 out of the last 3 games. So even when they're beaten and bruised, I do think that they could still drop some points in. They've scored 110, 113, 106 in the last couple games. So leave it to the Celtics to carry the weight here, but I like the over 224.5. All right, we are moving on. Knicks +5.5 at home against the Bucks. Total 226.5. The Knicks, the only play that we had right last night. So, thank you very much to the Knicks. In fact, let's get some crowd noise pumped in. We got a win. The Knicks covered easily last night, and they did get to rest some guys towards the end of the game. So even though they're on a back-to-back, they are coming into this game fairly rested here. And they played earlier this year, but the Bucks did take that win, 11-point win here back on October 28th. In terms of injuries, Serge Ibaka downgraded to out, and then no new injuries for Milwaukee, and then no injuries on the New York side of things here. I think that this game could stay close. I'm going to lean the Knicks. I don't like it, though. So when I say lean, if this is a full lean, I'm going, So I don't totally love this play. I think it's a decent amount of points to give. But if someone in the comments is saying, dude, I think Milwaukee wins this one by 15, I wouldn't fight that either. So I am going to lean just to give a lean, but I truly don't think that that's going to become a final play. One thing that could become a final play, though, is the over. I think that this one could get going. So I'm going to lean the over a little bit, I guess, more firmly than I do think that this one goes under here. Both these teams have the chance to go over. In the last 10 games each, they're both 6-4 to the over. So I do think that this is a good over opportunity here for the Knicks. Knicks in the last 4 home games, 4-0 to the over as well. And they're probably the team that we'd think has to do the most work when it comes to this over. I think they got this one. So I'm going to lean the over in that one, guys. Before we keep going, I want to talk to you guys about becoming a channel member, guys. If you want to become a baller, make sure to click that join button, guys. It's a one way to support the channel. And you guys, like I say in every video, right? You guys know. $2.99. I understand that you guys might be thinking, hey, if I like this channel, I want to support it no matter what. But what we're doing to try and make that worth it is a very big deal to me, guys. We're pumping out daily NBA models for both the spread, the total, and player props, player points specifically. Our spread is hitting at like 66% on the daily average daily percent hit rate. So our spread model is definitely our most successful, which is where we take our pride here. And we're also doing a video series that we go through and build a model with you guys. We're 3 episodes deep right now, but that's for ballers only, the members on the channel. So if you do want to become a baller, you got to realize first and foremost, it is to support the channel. That's why I want the #1 reason for you guys to consider becoming a baller. But then if you want all those extracurriculars and all those other things that we're really putting a lot of work into and giving back, make sure to click that join button, guys. That is available to you as well. So make sure to become a baller today, guys. I much appreciate it. I cannot thank all the ballers enough, guys. You guys make everything possible. So seriously, guys, thank you very much. If you're still watching right now and you're not a baller and you're not subscribed, consider hitting those buttons. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you're not going to become a baller, might as well do something over here, right? Or, comment down below the hashtag ride of the day and give me a play. We need a lot, guys. But yeah, hit that like button, guys. Let's jump back into these games. We left off at Milwaukee taking on the Knicks. We're moving over into Brooklyn here, where the Brooklyn Nets are 6-point favorites taking on the Wizards. 224.5 is the total in this game. 6 points is too much, in my opinion, to give this Wizards team. This Nets team, yeah, they had a little bit of a spark. They had a decent run, but they haven't been great as of late. I'm not loving what I'm seeing. They're just bouncing back and forth in terms of covering and not covering. If I go retroactive here from their most recent game back, loss against the spread, win against the spread, loss against the spread, win against the spread, loss against the spread, win against the spread in their last 6 games here, and their record is almost the same too, straight up here. So I do think that I'm gonna lean Washington, who covered their last game against Minnesota. We're on the right side of that one. No new injuries there whatsoever. And then Ben Simmons is a no-go tonight for Brooklyn either. So I think this is a decent amount of points to give this Washington team. I don't know which way this line's moving. I want to check that out a little bit closer. I missed that this morning in my research, but if we can get 6.5, I like that even more, obviously. But yeah, I'm going to lean Washington in this one, +6. In terms of a total, I don't really have much of a lean on this game. Next up, we got the Spurs taking on the Thunder. Thunder 5.5-point favorites at home. Spurs 6-15 straight up, 9-12 against the spread. Thunder 8-13 straight up, 12-9 against the spread. The rumbling cover in Thunder. They haven't been on fire as of late, but they are still positive here against the spread. The total is 237, which is super high. But I don't totally hate that number. What I do think, though, is this game probably sticks to the 232 to 235 mark. So if anything, my play in this game is going to be in the lean the under. But I don't think that this is the most prime spot for it. I could totally see both these teams getting up there and scoring a bunch of points. So I am going to lean the under in this one. But I don't totally love it. Jakob Poeltl is out. Josh Richardson is questionable here. And then for OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is questionable. So, I could see that both these teams go out there and score 120 and make this over an easy cash. So I'm going to lean the under, but I don't know if this game becomes a final play. Full transparency for you guys. All right, Memphis traveling over to Minnesota. Minnesota 3.5-point dogs at home. Total 232 in this game. Last time these two teams played was back just a couple weeks ago, November 11th, and Memphis won this game 114 to 103. In terms of the injury report for Memphis here, we have Desmond Bane, he's still out. Dylan Brooks questionable, and Danny Green is downgraded out. Minnesota, though, no Karl-Anthony Towns, and Jaden McDaniels is questionable, so that's going to be a huge blow if he doesn't get the run. I'm going to lean Memphis in this one, minus the 3.5 points. I think that's a fine number to lay on the road here. They haven't been the best against the spread record on the year when they're on the road, but Minnesota hasn't been great at home either. They're 3-8 against the spread to 2-8 against the spread for Memphis on the road. So I think that's kind of a wash. I'm going to lean Memphis in this one, minus the points on the road here. In terms of a total, I really don't have much of a lean there. All right, we got Toronto taking on the Pelicans. Pelicans 1-point favorites here at home, 224.5 In the last 10 games here, Toronto against the spread is 4-6. Minnesota. New Orleans is 6-4 against spread. At home, though, 4-3 against the spread, and Toronto is not the same on the road. Last 5 games against the spread on the road, 1-4. No Otto Porter Jr. for them. New Orleans, CJ McCollum now upgraded to questionable. Brandon Ingram, though, out, and Larry Nance Jr. is questionable. So keep an eye on that injury report. I don't love the Pelicans without a Brandon Ingram, but I do think that they are my lean in this game. Toronto's coming off 2 straight wins to Dallas and Cleveland. 2 pretty good teams. I think that they have a little bit of a letdown spot in this one, especially on the road. So I'm going to lean New Orleans in this one. And guys, I want to talk to you about the sponsor of today's show, MyBookie. Guys, if you want another sportsbook in your arsenal, make sure you use that link in the description and use promo code GBS. I've been telling you guys for about a month now that it's great to have additional sports books, at your access, at your disposal, guys, because you can line shop, which means, if there's a spread on one sports book, you want to make sure that that spread is better on another sports book that you can pull the trigger on. If you can get, -4 on one sports book and -3.5 on the other, you're going to roll with the better line, guys. And MyBookie has a plethora of different odds and different plays for you guys to check out, and different lines as well. So make sure you use that link in the description for a % match on your first time deposit, and use that code GBS, guys. There's a bunch of cool features over there. You can also live stream a bunch of games right on MyBookie site. So make sure to check out MyBookie today and use that promo code GBS. All right, we're taking it over to Denver as they host the Rockets. These two teams just played a couple nights ago, same exact spread, and Denver took it to them, 129-113. Jae'Sean Tate downgraded to out for Houston here. No Michael Porter Jr. or Jeff Green or Bones Highland, it looks like, for Denver here. Like I said, this spread, I think it finished at 11 here for Denver, and they won by 16 points last game. Denver's covered 4 of the last 5, 3 in a row, and they've had a couple decent numbers within there. So I'm going to lean Denver. I don't think this becomes a final play. I really have a hesitation of putting that big of a spread or laying that big of a number. So I am going to lean Denver in this one. But I think it's going to stop at a lean. In terms of a total too, I think it's a pretty sharp line. So this game's probably one that I'm looking at and going, all right, let's move on. We don't love anything here. All right, we got the Jazz hosting the Clippers. Clippers playing last night here. Clippers coming off that win to Indiana. The Jazz coming off a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss, a win, a win, a loss, a loss. The Jazz are 2-8 in their last 10 games. No Paul George tonight. John Wall's questionable for the Clippers, and no Kawhi Leonard. Utah, Mike Conley still out here. This team is just struggling, and they were so good at the beginning of the year. They're still 13-10 against spread and 12-11 straight up. At home, they are 5-4 against the spread in their last 9 games. But overall, those numbers I just gave, if we break that down into the last 10 games, 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the spread. This Utah team does not seem to have it here, and I don't love laying 6.5 points. So I'm gonna kick this game around a little bit, chew it up, see if I swallow or spit it out. Weird. So I'm gonna lean the Clippers. I don't know if this one becomes a final play, but I think it really comes down to just not being able to trust the Jazz as of right now, just the way that they're playing. So I'm probably gonna use this game more as a research tool than I am actually laying it on the Clippers, just to see how these two teams compare. 9 days ago or 8 days ago or so, the Clippers beat the Jazz by 7 points, even with some injuries included in that game. So I don't think that this is the best spot for the Jazz, but I think that this Clippers team, they've been a little inconsistent as well. So I'm going to lean Clippers in this one. That's a lot of points, 6.5 points. They are coming off of a back-to-back. This Jazz team has been a little shaky in the last 10 or so. All right, Suns 5.5 point favorites, total 225 here when they take on the Chicago Bulls. Chicago now above 500, 10-9-1 against the spread team. Phoenix 12-8 against the spread in their last 10 games here. Phoenix 6-4 against the spread, 3-2 at home against the spread in their last 5. And Chicago just mirroring those numbers, only on the opposite end. 4-6 against the spread total in the last 10, and 2-3 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. A lot of unders cashing for these teams. 7 out of the last 10 games have gone under for Chicago, and 4 out of the last 5 games for Phoenix have gone under here. I do think that this game, though, goes the other way, and I think we see both these teams kind of break out of a little bit of an under rut here, and I'm going to lean the over in this game. In terms of spread here, I've seen 5, 5.5. I do think if that number gets up towards 6 or 6.5, if it's going that way, I could see pulling the trigger on Chicago. But for now, if it stays at 5 or 5.5, I do lean Phoenix in this one. In terms of injuries, Goran Dragic is questionable. Alex Caruso is questionable. Derek Jones also questionable, as well as Ayo Dosunmu. And then for Phoenix, Chris Paul downgraded to out. When he comes back, I think this Phoenix team is going to get it going. But this Phoenix team has started to turn the corner. You remember probably like, a week ago, a week and a half ago, this Phoenix team was kind of in the, you know what? They're starting to come back and return to playing that good Phoenix Sun basketball. Indiana traveling over to Sacramento. I think this is going to be a very good game. Sacramento 4.5-point favorites here. These two teams yet to play this season. In the last 10 games, both looking pretty good as well. 7-3 straight up at home. Sacramento in their last 6, 4-2 against the spread, and on the road, Indiana 3-1 against the spread as well. In terms of injuries, no major injuries to note here. I think that this game is going to be a really good game, but I do think it ends up going under. These are two teams that have some serious firepower, a serious ability to score the rock here. But for whatever reason, I think that this game's going to come down to a little bit of back and forth, and teams that, they're not usually familiar with sort of grinded out basketball. I think they're going to end up having to grind it out. And look at that. We have a total of 239. So I don't have a spread play on this game. I think that's a really good. I think this game stays right within that range. Whether Sacramento ends up taking it by 5 or Indiana catches up and only loses by 3. I do think Sacramento's the better team, but I wouldn't put my life on it. But that total, guys, I think that there's real opportunity there for the under in this game. I'm going to continue to plug away, so make sure to keep an eye on the pin com to see if that becomes a final play, but it definitely has a chance. In our last game of the video here is the Lakers taking on the Trailblazers. Lakers 5.5-point favorites, 226 here. Trailblazers coming off the back-to-back, Trailblazers coming off of a loss to Brooklyn, back-to-back in Brooklyn. Two pretty similar words, huh? Back-to-back Brooklyn. Jeez, I can't even get it right. Brooklyn losing by a bunch of points there, 111-97, and LA coming off of a loss to the Pacers. We were on the right side of that one. Damian Lillard, though, is upgraded to questionable, and Patrick Beverley, coming off of the suspension, is upgraded to probable as well. I think that Portland, if Damian Lillard plays, I'm going to lean Portland plus 5.5. If he doesn't, I'm probably sticking away from this game. I do not love the total either way in this, so I'm going to stick away from that. And that is ultimately what we have for you guys today. Long video. Hope you guys do enjoy it, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.